I'm Alan Robarge, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. My work is about improving relationships, very specifically attachment injuries and healing attachment trauma. And if you're like me, if you're like many of us, you have enough life experience where you step back, big picture, you look at your life and your relationships just have not worked out. And it's very painful. And of course you want them to work out, but they don't. There's this predictable, reoccurring pattern of picking someone who's emotionally unavailable or withholding. There's some aspect of this push-pull, distance or pursue, or come here, go away. A chronic tension, a chronic anxiety that is under an undercurrent of your relationship, of just this feeling that things are unsettled. And it's very possible that you're someone that you yourself, you feel guarded. And you feel when there is a chance for emotional vulnerability, emotional connection, it's very frightening. And so you find yourself distancing yourself. Or maybe you're someone who's just so completely preoccupied with the relationship that you have an obsessive thinking. And very much consumed in a way there's an imbalance where you can't focus on other areas of your life. And these relationships end in tragedy or pain and suffering and activate fears of abandonment, activate feelings of rejection, activate this being frightened of aloneness, this idea that you're going to now be alone. And many of us, some of us, what happens is that we jump right into the next relationship, or we find that we get shut down and we might become even more guarded or maybe even bitter and resentful. And both of those choices don't help us get ultimately what we want, which is secure attachment and emotional connections that feel, that provide a sense of ease, as opposed to chronic walking on eggshells or tension or drama or confusion. We want to do something different. Now, everything I'm talking about is very much a broad, a lot of content to cover, a lot of things to focus on. And if we're going to address it, we have to address all of these different areas, which is why I created a membership community called Improve Your Relationships. There is a 8-week program where there are suggested topics, discussion topics. There are suggested weekly activities as homework. And there's also a program called Project Rewire Challenge, which is about go out into the world and invite emotional connection with others in a kind of controlled environment where you invite a corrective experience. Because this is not just learning. This is not just changing your thinking or having a different idea. This is really about allowing your brain to be rewired and override the old patterns. Now, it's very possible that all of this is also rooted in your relationship to yourself, and that you might feel insecure, have low self-esteem, very much think you just don't deserve to be loved. You don't think you're good enough. You don't think you're lovable. And this is all about shame. So many of us who come from a history of insecurely attached relationship, a byproduct of that is living with a certain amount of shame, and this really impacts our sense of self. So part of the healing process is to work on how do we strengthen our sense of self. A guiding principle of this program that recycles every 8 weeks, we come back around and we revisit each area, each topic of discussion, but a guiding principle that informs how we approach the content is that of self-directed healing. And a path of self-directed healing incorporates self-accountability. So that you can decide, I call it the buffet approach. You get to decide what you put on your plate and what you don't. And we have members who log in daily. We have members who log in weekly. It is totally up to you. We would love to have you as a member. If it is time, if you are ready to break this pattern, if you're ready to dialogue with other people and really jump in and have some meaningful conversations about what you need to change in your life so that you do not repeat this same level of disappointing, reoccurring, insecure attachment, then this community very much is for you, and we would love to have you. I like the idea that when we love whoever, whatever relationship, each time we are afforded, we are given a piece of our heart. And every time we lose and there's a loss, we are noticing we have a piece of our heart. And healing work, the process of healing, of being conscious, being purposeful, having intention around how we want to mature and grow, and the areas where we need to grow. We're looking at all of these different colorful pieces of our heart, of our life history, of our memories, of our stories, and we're trying to put them together. We got to sift through them. And this does take work, and this does take intention, and this does take time, which is why this community is here. If you are ready to do this work and invest in yourself in changing these patterns, then please join us. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you in the community.